Gaza's Civil Defense Agency has said that at least 37 people have been killed by Israeli fire, including 30 civilians who were waiting to collect aid. Reports specified that 12 people were killed and nearly 200 wounded when Israeli forces opened fire on them as they gathered near a border crossing in northern Gaza that has been used for aid deliveries. Reports further suggest that 6 more people were killed and 30 wounded after Israeli troops targeted civilians assembling near an aid point in central Gaza. Thousands of Palestinians congregate daily near the food distribution points in Gaza, including 4 managed by the U.S. and Israeli-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. Israeli restrictions on the entry of supplies into Gaza since the start of the war nearly 2 years ago have led to shortages of food and essential supplies, including medicine and fuel, which hospitals require to power their generators. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu faces mounting pressure to agree to a ceasefire to bring the territory's more than 2 million people back from the brink of famine and free the hostages held by Hamas. Now, for this discussion, we are joined by Ali M. Abushbak. He's an independent Palestinian researcher, joins us live from Cairo. Thank you, Ali, for joining us today. Good to see you. Now, Ali, Prime Minister Netanyahu is facing increasing pressure inside of Israel and protests opposing his decision in Tel Aviv. How realistic is it for Israel to agree to a ceasefire under these circumstances?
Thank you, Suma. The things is internal and inside Israel, the pressure. Yesterday, we have witnessed hundreds of Israelis protesters have taken the street and demanding for stop the war and the reach to deal with Hamas to release the whole captive in Gaza. And also yesterday we have seen several of activists. They are entered a show in Israel, and one of the most famous show in Israel, and demanding for a ceasefire and end the war in Gaza. Today also that the United Nations Security Council is going to meet to discuss the Israeli expanding the war in Gaza. So there is several of Western country also condemned the Israelis' plan to fully control Gaza. And also today we have seen a controversial statement for Smotrich, one of the far right wing from Israel. He also condemned this plan to fully control Gaza, and he's not supporting Benjamin Netanyahu in this phase, except Itamar Ben-Gvir and also the American who's supporting Israel in this step and this plan. So in my opinion, this pressure, there is a huge pressure on Benjamin Netanyahu, but I guess he's not going to sit back for these things, and he's not going to remove this plan or not invade control Gaza. And we have seen that in May 2023, before 2024, before Benjamin Netanyahu he decided to invade Rafah, all the international community and even the Israeli community warned Benjamin Netanyahu to not invade Rafah because it was the humanitarian zone, and it was most of the civilians who displaced from central Gaza and from north part of Gaza. They moved to Rafah, which located in south part of Gaza. 100 of also international community protesters, they took the street and they demand Benjamin Netanyahu to not invade Rafah, but also ultimately in the mid of May he invaded Rafah and fully controlled Rafah now. More than 75% of Gaza under the Israelis' control, from north to south. Bet Hanun from north and Bet Lahia, Jabalia, it's fully controlled. Ash-Shijaiya neighborhood is fully controlled by Israel, as well as Rafah and a huge size of Khan Yunis, it's fully controlled by Israel. Just only remained Al-Mawasi and Al-Nusayrat and Gaza City, which Benjamin Netanyahu plans to invade this area. Most of the experts, they are warning that the the captive, this plan putting the captive under the risk, and maybe it will kill them. By the way, also, Osama, it's worth mentioning that since 2 years when Israel waged the war in Gaza, Israel just only 8 hostages they could release by pressure or by military pressure. Most of the hostages who got released by negotiation and by talk. More than 200 Israelis captive in Gaza. They have been released by the negotiation and talk and the agreement with Hamas and with the other Palestinian resistance military. Only 8 Israeli captive have been released by Israeli military operation, and 3 of them in Shajaiya neighborhood they killed by a friend fire by they call it as accidentally.
Right. Thank you very much, Ali, for sharing that insight. Please stay with us as we come back to